Hi guys, this is a short presentation of the new R9 series from AMD, the new graphics card. This is the 280X from the series, which is based on the 7970 Ghz editions. It is a 3 GB RAM, 1100 MHz CPU card. It runs on a PCI Express 3.0, but as you might see, I have an older computer which has a PCI Gen 2, and it runs quite well even on this one, but they suggest that you would be better off with a PCI Express 3.0. It has a 8-pin, an 8-pin and a 6-pin PCI Express adapter for the power from the power source. It requires 250 watts of power, and the producers say that it is wise to use a 750 plus watts PSU to power it. The main thing about this card is obviously the cooler, which makes it different from the reference card. It is the WindForce 3X cooler, which is basically Gigabyte's stock cooler for these cards. It is quite long, which is probably the main problem that people are going to have with it if they have smaller cases. It is 27 centimeters long, which is big. It is quite thin though. It can be easily used in a crossfire configuration. It can be used in a triple crossfire with 3 cards, but I don't think anybody's gonna do that, but it can be done. It is quite thin, as I said, so the airflow is not gonna be such a big problem as for those that have the bigger cooler that uses 3 slots. Other than that, the connections are, as you can see on the back, it has a DVI-D, and an HDMI, a normal size HDMI, and 2 display ports, micro display ports. You have in the package an adapter for one of those to turn it into a normal display port. This car can actually support 4 monitors at the same time. Other than that, it is the basic Gigabyte layout, nothing different or spectacular on this one in comparison to the normal gigahertz 7970 Ghz edition that used basically the same layout. It is quite the same card. I mean, the difference is quite small. So this is the way it looks in the case. This is the way it runs. It is quite loud in tests, but not so much that you can live with it. The main thing is the cooler is excellent. The price is quite low. You can find it in around $300, which is quite good considering it is almost on par with the GTX 770, which is quite more expensive, and even its twin sister, the 7970, which is about €100 more, or $150 or such. So it's quite a bargain. It supports the new DirectX 11.2, which is going to be available on the new Microsoft Windows 8.1, and it has Mantle support, which, well, it's going to be, or not going to be so important. We're going to have to live and see. Well, this is the way it looks. This is the size, which is most important on this revealing. I am not actually going to do a technical review, as I am not qualified to do so. Just wanted to show you how it looks. And well, I did run 4mark on it, and it did 3,400. It did 3,393 points, and this is quite an old rig. It is an i7 950, first generation i7, and it uses a PCI Express 2.0. on a x58 chipset board. So not the most well, not the best rig you can use this on. So possibly you're gonna get better results than I did, but still it's quite good, and I can play well basically anything at ultra settings without any problems, without lag, without any drops or anything of that matter. Now moving on to the actual box in which it comes, which looks like this. Let me focus a bit. So this is the box it arrived in. It is basically just the shell of the actual box, because well, it's quite thin. It doesn't have any windows or lifting thingies, so you can look inside. It does have a short presentation on the back of the WindForce cooler and some of the abilities of the card, but not very much. Moving on to the box inside, which is a bit thicker and has the Gigabyte logo on it and houses the card itself in obviously an anti-static bag. This is the manual that you're looking at, actually just a quick guide on how to mount a graphics card. It is, just as I said, a very short introduction on how to put a video card inside the slot and well, safely and in the correct order. Well, the package is quite literally well thin. It just has a couple of adapters for PCI Express in case you don't have that, but I have never seen a 750 watt plus power source that doesn't have the pins required. It's an 8-pin and a 6-pin adapter from the normal Molex. This is the Crossfire connection and the CD with the drivers. Oh, and the adapter that I spoke about earlier from the DisplayPort to the mini DisplayPort. Well, just basically what you need from a video card for it to work quite well. Actually, I've not had the time to test it, but I did play a few games on it, and everything that I played was well excellent. It replaces a NVIDIA. I am an NVIDIA, used to be an NVIDIA enthusiast by all regards, and well, it replaces the aging GTX 560 Ti. Excuse me, I'm quite tired. The 2 GB edition with the OC from MSI, and it is well quite fast compared to it. It is 3 times better even without being OC'd at all, and well, that's quite what I had to tell you about this card. Oh, and by the way, this is quite cooler than the NVIDIA counterpart, the 770. In tests at a 25-26 room temperature, 25-26 degrees Celsius, it ran up to about 63 degrees in for mark, which is a quite intensive video test. And in normal gameplay in Tomb Raider at the maximum level of settings, it only went up to 50 degrees. It ranged between the idle of 32 or 35 degrees to about 50 degrees, so it is quite cool compared to my former card, which went up to about 78 degrees playing basically any game. So that's about it for this card. This is the way it looks. It's quite basic. It's quite what you would expect from a video card that works well without any bling on it, without being a show and tell kind of card. Just practical and good and simple to use, and well, just a money saver of good, actually great performance considering the money you pay for it. Well, good luck in choosing your video card. This is my presentation, my short presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.